Om Amriteshwari Namaha. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Amma, Sadguru, Sri Sri Mata Amritandami Devi. My humble prostrations at the holy feet of our Pujane Swamiji, Swami Purnamritandapuri. My humble pranams to Dr. P.N. Vasanthi Rao, Director General of Center of Media Studies in New Delhi. My humble pranams to Dr. Dhaniraj, the founder chairman of the Center for Public Policy Research, CPPR, and my humble pranams to the Deputy Director of the Planning Board, Shri Arun Shamnath, Dr. Shakila Shamsu, and Professor Arul Selvam from the University of Anna University in Tamil Nadu. So they'll all be present in the next panel discussion. This is going to be a formal inauguration. I feel blessed to have got an opportunity to introduce the guests of honor. Our Swamiji, who is always with us here in this campus. Swamiji is the General Secretary of the Mata Amritandami Math, and having been at the spiritual tutelage of Amma over the last more than 45 years, Swamiji has travelled the world over along with Amma, spreading the message of love and compassion, what Amma embodies. Swamiji is a renowned exponent of our spiritual scholarship, plus a very good musician, playing almost all instruments, and singer. And in his erstwhile, he studied engineering in electronics and worked as a scientist in the Raman Research Institute in Bangalore before joining the tutelage of Amma. With humble pranams from every one of you, a most profound, loving welcome to our Pujaniya Swamiji. We have with us Dr. P.N. Vasanthi Rao. She is the Director General of the Center of Media Studies in New Delhi. Dr. P.N. Vasanthi Rao is overseeing the strategy, initiatives, and institutional management of the CMS. Her specific areas of specialization are in designing, researching, and evaluating the development communication programs. She is a PhD in Media Studies from the Jawaharlal Nehru University and holds a master's degree in Psychology and Management. Dr. Vasanthi writes and speaks widely on the trends of media in India and the development communication, along with the behavior change communication and the education through entertainment. She has also served on a ministry committee that drafted the content guidelines for the broadcast sector. Always engaged right from the lineage of her father, who founded the CMS long back. I was told that he is now 80 years old. 86. Yeah. So, her father is still her mentor. She always speaks about it. So, with these humble words of introduction, on behalf of the Amrita Vishwavidyapitham and on behalf of all of us, let me extend to Dr. P.N. Vasanthi Rao a warm welcome. Many times we had the occasion of having Dr. Dhanraj here during many media conclaves. And I still remember he was present here even for the first ISMER conference, which was inaugurated by none other than Shri Loknath Behra, the then Director General of Police. And every time we used to inform him also that ISMER is beginning today. So it was he who inaugurated it for the first time. This is the 5th edition of ISMER. And every year we see the quality and content of the deliberations have increased tremendously. And this time I got the feedback from Dinesh that there were 72 presentations received, out of which the evaluation committee has accepted about 62 presentations, including those from abroad. It's a very steady growth of the ISMER conference, very steady growth. And I don't say the epistemology of exponential growth, I don't want it also. The quality is very important. So the steady growth of this shows that this conference is able to give advocacy to the platforms which talks on the media education. It is proven during the last 4 conferences. And every year when the 5th time also, when he told me that, took my permission to host it, I said, excellent, you go ahead, as in the usual norms, you go ahead. And last week he told me the current status of the presentations and the way it is taking place. And I congratulate Dr. Dinesh as well as the entire department for this wonderful hosting of for the 5th time. And he involves all the research scholars, primarily all the research scholars and all the scholars and all the UG, PG, all students, because they are the future torchbearers for the continuum, to keep the continuum. So let me try to introduce Dr. D. Dhanraj. He's a founder chairman at the Center for Public Policy Research, CPPR, a non-profit, independent public policy think tank based in Kochi. The 2 decades of experience in this sector, his interest areas lie at the intersection of research and policy analysis. He's a policy researcher and commentator on urbanization, urban mobility and infrastructure, education, retail, health, livelihood, law, public expenditure, defense and security, geopolitics, and election analysis, and has collaborated with state, national, and international governments and organizations and institutions on several key research studies and policy recommendations. Well known in the international, national, and state policy, public policy space, Dr. Dhenraj is a noted speaker, panelist, and thought leader at several policy debates, discussions, advocacy panels, conferences, and roundtables. He also writes extensively for several leading media publications and contributes his expertise and opinion as a policy expert on news channels. Currently, he is the president of the Association of Public Policy Education in India, APPE, and he was the Secretary General of Liberal Youth South Asia, LISA, from 2008 to 2009, and also the founder, president, and trustee of Liberal Youth Forum of India, LIF, from 2008 to 11. With these humble words of introduction, let me warmly welcome Dr. Dhenraj to our midst. And let me once again congratulate Dr. Dinesh Babu and his entire team. Welcome all of them. And the support our Vice Principal and the research head, Dr. Balasubramaniam, has given. Dinesh has been incredible. In fact, he was available all the time for consultation, day and night. My job was minimized. So, with this, I will welcome all of you once again to the 3 days of deliberation as usual. My request to all the students is something invaluable, something unavailable is going to be available today and the next 2 days through talks and discussions delivered by prominent experts. And every year we keep adding new panel members and new experts into the foray of experts who are visiting this, who are contributing towards ISMER. And that itself, every year, new students also will be there. Therefore, make use of these sessions to the fullest extent. It is in such campuses, such platforms you get to learn from, not from the regular faculty, but from people who are in the experiential domain. Therefore, learn from them, give your ear fully into it. Be present. Just like Amma says, you have to be always present in the present moment. So try to be present in the present moment, those present moments. Forget about any other things. Okay. So this is what I have to request my dear students. With this, I will stop my formal welcome address. Welcome to all of you. And let me pray to Amma to wish the ISMER, the 5th annual edition, with her incessant grace. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We are deeply blessed to have the presence of a spiritual guide who reminds us of the ethical and humanistic core of communication. I now humbly request Swami Purnamritananda Puri, General Secretary of Mada Amritanandamayi Math, to grace us with the blessing address.
സ്നേഹാലോക സുമോഹനവദനാം കരുണാർദ്രാനത നയനാം രമ്യാം ശ്രുതജനപാലന വിഗ്രാം സൗമ്യാം അമൃതാനന്ദമയീം പ്രണമാമി. Om Amadeshwari Namaha. My humble pranams to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and all my dear brothers and sisters and brothers. Sisters should be first. Amma says, there is nothing worldly in this world. Everything can become a worship to the cosmic force, worship to nature, God. We can use any word for that. And when you give happiness, you become spiritual. When you expect happiness, you become worldly. That's the only difference. When you become a giver of happiness, you become spiritual. When we try to live in this world with a lot of selfishness, that is called worldly life. When we are ready to sacrifice our happiness for others, then it becomes a spiritual life. So it can be practiced anywhere, in the house, office, anywhere. So every action, every thought can become a worship to God. So media communication, visual communication is a very powerful source to transform the society. So when we live in this world, Amma says, it is impossible to teach anybody, but many people will learn from you. Everybody loves to teach, but not many listeners. So our personality, our body language, our presentations, our life is the greatest teaching. That was the Amma teaches us. She won't give long discourses, but we can learn many things just by watching Amma. Even when we came early days, when we came to Amma, we learned meditation because Amma was always sitting in meditation with the closed eyes for us. Nothing else was to need to do. Just to watch her. That was the first meditation practice, watching the master. So like that, we should know how to observe things. We are all multiple personalities. Morning time, we are all Brahmins, very calm and quiet, very intelligent. Never become angry. The daytime you become Kshatriyas, very active. We want to do something. It's so difficult to sit somewhere without doing anything, Kshatriya quality. And then night time we are Shudras. That's needed for sleeping, no? Otherwise we will be using our phone again and again and never sleep in the night time. And many medical students and some of our students also complain to me, not getting sleep. How to get sleep? When we become very active, when we look in the screen and the brain convey different messages. So the melatonin won't get produced. You to sleep, you need melatonin now. When you look in the screen, the light rays will go to the brain, means you are active. The brain will think you are active, so it won't help you to produce that melatonin enzyme. So like that, each quality, the sattvic quality, rajasic quality, and tamasic quality, all are useful particular time, not in the classroom. So the tamasic quality is not good for the classroom, but for when we live in this world, Amma says, very careful. Even if you are not teaching anything to others, but many people are learning from you. And such way, the media people can make tremendous change in the society. Because when you watch in the TV, the interviews and everything, they try to make you angry. The people will lose their control. Such an arrogance, they are asking question. But in an ancient time, no, the disciples were allowed to ask questions to the master. Nowadays, what happens? the teachers will ask questions to you, but in ancient time it was not like that. All the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, everything was, there are questions asked by the students and the reply given by the master. So like that, it is possible for us to make tremendous change in the society through our personality. So that's the first quality we have to develop when we want to transform the society. And I have seen so many media people who can attract the society, that mesmerizing personality, way of talking. So I'm just watching. How many of you are smiling? That's the most powerful weapon to conquer the society. A smiling face is more powerful than your intelligence. So your personality should be beautiful. For that, Amma says, every person, before he start working, he should practice meditation. Just like charging our battery for the machine. When we use our mobile, we charge the mobile now. For the best performance, you have to charge the battery. Like that, you should supposed to charge your spiritual battery before you start working in the society. So we should be peaceful first. We should be confident. In the modern world, we have everything except self-confidence. So you can activate your self-confidence by practicing meditation. What is meditation? Stop doing everything. It is very easy to do something, but it's not very easy to stop all actions of the body, mind, and intellect. So every day, just sit quiet, watch what is happening within, and replace the thoughts with the divine thoughts. It will help you a lot in your activities. Thank you so much. I'm praying to Amma for her blessings for this success of this conference. Thank you so much for your smiling face.
Thank you, sir. Moving into the heart of our theme, we are joined by a stalwart in the field of media research and policy. As the Director General of the Center for Media Studies in New Delhi, her work has influenced how we perceive media's role in society. It is my privilege to invite our chief guest, Dr. P.N. Vasanti, to address the gathering. Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning. At heart, I'm a researcher, just like all of you here. So I couldn't say no to Dinesh's warm welcome to such a beautiful campus. So thank you for inviting me. And I came prepared with a whole-fledged presentation so that I don't miss out. Even though it's an inaugural session, I know I'm not supposed to be making a formal presentation, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk to all of you. So let me start by saying thank you. How do I change it? This one, yes. Okay, thank you so much. To the distinguished guests, the eminent Swamiji and the guests on the dais, and the guests I see in front of me, dear colleagues, faculty members, and of course, dear students. I see many of them and many of the smiling faces. Pleasure to see you early this morning. So let me start by very, very simple, familiar scene. A young student wakes up in the morning. Before even getting up out of the bed, she reaches for her phone. In the next few minutes, she has already scrolled through headlines, watched a short video, liked a post, shared a message or two. She hasn't even entered the classroom yet. And yet, she has already consumed, interpreted, and participated in media. Now multiply this by millions. What we are witnessing is not just media consumption. It is the continued shaping of perception, belief, and behavior. And that is why the question before us today is not simply about media education. It is about how we prepare minds to navigate, question, and also shape the reality. Therefore, it is a privilege to be here at ISMER 2026, the 5th edition at Amrita University, to reflect on the theme that is both very timely, Dr. Dinesh, and urgent, from classroom to community, media education for transformative social impact. Clearly, we are living in a hyper-connected, hyper-reactive media landscape. India today has over 800 million internet users and more than 1.1 billion mobile connections and nearly 500 million social media identities. We spend hours each day consuming, sharing, reacting, more hours in fact than we sleep or even study or even work today. But here is the shift that we must recognize. Media is no longer about delivering information. It is about shaping perceptions. And this has created what we all call an infodemic, where information is abundant, but understanding is scarce. So, oops. So we are, I think I went back. Huh? Yeah, sorry. So we're witnessing deep shifts, certainly with the war going on, the geopolitics, how we are defining democracy. With AI, the technology is overwhelming, and of course, the ecological crisis that we face day in and day out. And with that, the role of media is completely changing, from information to impact, from neutrality to responsibility, from reporting events to explaining systems, from human-centric to nature-inclusive storytelling, from speed to accuracy and depth, from audience to community. This is not just about evolution, it's transformation. We are standing on a very important inflection point. The choices we make in media education today will determine whether media strengthens or weakens democracy, whether it deepens understanding or spreads confusion, whether it serves communities or it exploits them. So the question is not whether media shapes society, the question is, will we shape media with purpose? So if the world has changed, education must change with it. Media and communication today are deeply interdisciplinary, and I'm amazed to see the kind of work that is already happening at Amrita. We not only bringing journalism, culture, technology, sociology, storytelling, we're also bringing, unknown intersections between different fields. But more importantly, we must rethink what we teach, how we research, and why it matters. At the heart of this transformation lives research, not just academic research, but purpose-driven, impact-oriented research. Research that asks, what is the nature of media reality? How do people interpret what they see? What influences behavior? And importantly, how do we use that knowledge to create better communication? So over 3 decades at the Center for Media Studies, CMS, as has been introduced, we have worked with one very simple, principle. Research should not end in reports. It must lead to change. So we were founded in 1991. I'm one of the founder members, along with my father, as he rightly pointed out. We focused on media's role in policy and practice, ensuring that research feeds directly into decision-making and social impact. So let me share what this looks like in practice. In the space of entertainment education, we have worked with long-running television format, Kyunki Isi Ka Naam Hai, I don't know how many have you heard about this, studying how narrative influence audience perception over time. Because storytelling is not neutral, it shapes norms. In campaigns like Bell Bajao addressing domestic violence, research was used to understand perceptions, test messages, and strengthen communication strategies. This is communication designed not just to inform, but to shift attitudes and behavior. In children's programming such as Meena Ki Duniya and Gali Gali Sim Sim, we conducted longitudinal studies across multiple states to understand how media contributes to learning and social development. Because the stories children engage with often shape the adults they become. And in our work on misinformation, in collaboration with Penn State University, we explored how different WhatsApp formats influence belief. What we found was striking. Video content was perceived as more credible and more likely to be shared even when false, which reminds us technology is not neutral. It amplifies perceptions. And more recently, our work with youth engagement in climate and sustainability has brought together policy, research, and lived experiences to understand how communication can move people from awareness to action. So these insights have led to many initiatives at CMS. For example, I don't know how many of you know about CMS Vatavaran, which is Asia's largest exclusive film festival on environment and wildlife. The 14th edition will be held in Hyderabad later this year. And we've done many such things. We've done a media workshop day before yesterday at Amrita. And more recently, we did a Life for Nature Summits, which embeds nature into governance at all levels. We did it in Vijayawada last week. We do this because research must also build ecosystems for change. So looking ahead, media research must engage with 4 critical areas, and I know some of this is already being done at Amrita. I was very delighted to know about it, whether it's technology and digital power, looking at algorithms, AI, platform influence, questions of control and visibility, whether it's storytelling and creative processes, whether it's new formats, genres, narrative styles. What about ownership and economics? Again, who owns media? What shapes content decisions? And very importantly, impact on society, norms, culture, privacy, democracy. The future of media research lies in understanding not just media, but its consequences. So that brings us to the heart of the symposium. How do we move from classroom to community? What must we amplify? We must use media to amplify grassroots voices, bring forward lived realities, highlight marginalized narratives, and to tell story of positive change. Media as a force of behavior change must also help shape, civic responsibilities that most of us seem to have forgotten, environmental consciousness, reconnecting us to nature and remove us from the screen that we keep continually obsessed with, public health awareness, and we must contribute to the democratization of information. If I were to define the role of media education today, this would be this. We must shape communicators who are, 1, storytellers for impact, not just creating content. And I think it's important to know the skill of how do you create content, but crafting narratives that matters more. Advocates for sustainability, bringing nature back into our storytelling, and co-creators of knowledge. Not just working and studying communities, but actually working along with them. And finally, defenders of democracy, because ensuring media serves the public good. So let me end by going back to that young student with her phone. Tomorrow morning, she will wake up again, she will scroll again, watch again, and share again. But perhaps, if we do our job right, she will also pause. She will also question what she sees. She will think about its impact. She will choose what to amplify. And maybe, just maybe, she will not just be a consumer of media, but a conscious participant in shaping it. Because ultimately, the classroom gives us knowledge, certainly, but community gives meaning to that knowledge. And when media education connects these two, it becomes a force not just for communication, but for transformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed very insightful. To provide further perspective on public policy and the community impact of this work, we have with us a thinker who has pioneered research-based policy advocacy around us. I invite our guest of honor, Dr. D. Dhanuraj, founder chairman of the Center for Public Policy Research, Kochi, to share his thoughts. Please, sir.
A very warm good morning to all of you. And it's my pleasure to be here every year to be part of this wonderful conference on media education research. And when in the welcome speech, and Unikrishan sir, Krishna Kumar sir spoke about my presence, I was thinking about I'm getting old. 5 years, I didn't realize that 5 years I'm coming here every year. And I'm also grateful to the organizers of this event. This time, I think we have larger participation from my office. My colleagues are here tomorrow. I'm also happy to have, I'm speaking in presence of one of my mentors, Shakila ma'am, and all others here. Thank you so much for this opportunity, for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts on media, education, and public policy research. And again, I don't have any presentation. This is actually, I actually thought of asking this question to all the students here who are studying media. Should we do PowerPoints every time? No offense, ma'am, because I'm not good at showing a PowerPoint and explaining it. I don't know. I never mastered that art the last 20 years. So I avoid PowerPoint to the extent, unless otherwise it's warranted or somebody said you should have a PowerPoint. So this is all about effective communication. So I have this challenge of looking at the slide and explaining it. I love doing that very extempore deliveries. And now again in the welcome or when I was introduced, it was mentioned that we do a lot of election studies. Of course, I do election studies for the last 14 years. I'm somebody, in fact, I'm so happy that Vasanthi ma'am is here. Her father, we all grew up reading his articles. He's a regular writer in some of the national weeklies. And it's all about politics, media, psephology. So when I was a student, I remember reading this. So this is why I share this, the impact of what you write and how it influences you as you grow up. It's tremendous. I think students of media studies should understand the efficacy and efficiency and the impact and influence that your writings and your, like Swamiji said, what is your personality that will have a positive impact on the society. So what you write, what is a positive construct that you build in your writing. Today, media is not only about writing. It's also about visual impacts, Instagram. Today morning I generally listen to podcasts when I drive. No offense to, I don't violate traffic rules, but still I love to hear podcasts. So I was hearing something when I was driving here. This was about TikTok. And there's a study published by the Economist magazine, I think last week's Economic magazine. They said that there's always a discussion around the world when you are economically, growing. Secularism will be prevailing. That's an understanding. People are not bothered about religion, caste, community, and all. But their study shows that. Now, of course, we can agree, disagree. There's a research study they published. They say that in Southeast Asia, in fact, even though economies are doing well, many of the countries, Southeast Asian countries, the religiosity is also growing. Right? So, they said, one example quoted in the study is TikTok. They used TikTok to spread religious awareness, or you're asking citizens to attend religious practices. You never fail in a religious practice. So we use different modes. It could be TikTok. I belong to the age of, I don't know who can say that. I belong to the age of Orkut. Orkut is something that in late 90s, early 2000s, we all happy to have some Orkut friends. We are pretty proud to say Orkut. Then it shifted to Facebook, and I have a dedicated media team in our office. The simple reason that we do research a lot on various subjects. We have researchers in our office. They do write, but it's also important what you write, you are sharing with the audience, right? How do you do that? Because there's there is a conversation I still remember. Pratap Bhanu Mehta, he said, "I am not on social media. I don't care, or I don't want to engross into all this social media because somebody will write. When you post something on social media, definitely you expect somebody to comment, and I don't want to get engrossed and waste my energy and time for that." I know many of my peers in think tank community in India, they're completely away from, they're oblivious to the social media platforms. They don't want. But as an institution, we decided that we should communicate, because youngsters, I'm sure many of us still on their phones. So, when they, browse through, it sometimes happens that they, read some of the articles that we publish. That's also one communication mode. We can't be away from that. Since I started with elections, it's also interesting. I'm doing television shows specifically on elections for the last 13, 14 years. I did national television debates, Malayalam channel debates. And when I was first invited for a television show on election, I was very, very nervous. What I'm going to speak? Because we all see that evening time is like shouting, right? And this was in 2000, I believe 2011. So immediately I wanted to take some advice. What's the way I should prepare for it? I'm sure your professors are also preparing you for all this. So I'm just giving my tips that I received that time. So I called, I'm sure Shakila ma'am will also agree, Dr. Gopakumar. He is one of the authorities in India, psephologist, and he's also my professor. So yeah, sir, tell me, should I attend it first of all? Because I'm very nervous going live, and they will ask all these political questions. What should I do? So he said two things. Okay. I still keep that. He said, television is not the platform where you exhibit your intellectual authority or knowledge. Television is a medium where you converse. Don't go and try to exhibit your knowledge on television. Wrong place to do that. Second, when you have commentaries, because it is politics and elections, definitely some other panelists, because usually our typical, especially in Kerala, the panel is like one representing one. So you'll have three at least representing each party. And then you have supposed to be a neutral observer and commentator. So they will contest you. Don't try to contest them. Let them speak what they speak. You stick to your views. You stick to your numbers, because election is all about numbers. That is what I do. And don't try to say that, you are wrong. I'm trying to prove you are wrong. This is not a place. It was a great learning from my first TV show on elections. I've done, I think, more than 300, 350 shows in the last 10, 13 years on election itself. Okay, I did last one day for yesterday. So it's all about, communicating the right and how to communicate, how to position yourself. And as a policy researcher, I know time is limited. I just cut short my address here. It's also about, today we talk a lot about fake news, because this is one issue that as policy researchers we face. I remember now when we go to government offices, or let's say meetings convened by decision makers, they invite us, okay, you do your presentation, what is your study, what's your thing. Unfortunately, things are changing in this country. Even they also, I see, been influenced by WhatsApp University. No, it's sometimes very hard to communicate and convince people that this is not the real number, right? We have numbers, we've gone to the field, we studied this topic for months or years probably, but they say, no, this is not the popular understanding. And what is your reference? Finally, we, ask them to reveal what is the source, then say, this is what I received on my WhatsApp groups, share this information. So one thing as I believe as, students of media, I think you should learn how to differentiate what is real and what is fake. That's very important. And I'm sure this school is also studying on the regulatory side. I agree and disagree on some of the regulatory part that government of India speaks about, or globally, we also looked at Chinese. There are 3 types of regulations. One is American type of regulation, one is European Union type of regulation, third one is Chinese type of regulation in media. So we agree and disagree. The positives and negatives, I'm not getting into that. This is one of our favorite topics. Second is data. How much you use, data-driven communication. Because data-driven governance and media accountability is a very important one today. Now these days, at least I am a little bit busy with all the media engagement. Every day I give interviews to media on elections, and people call me, what is this data, what is this? But at times I also feel that the people who call me, they also have they're not objective. They want to hear what they would like to hear. Day for yesterday, I did a TV show on a survey published by a national television channel, and their Malayalam channel was discussing that. And somebody thought that it is our study. I said, this is not our study. Because somebody calls me and yesterday morning shouts at me, how can you say all this thing? I said, I didn't say anything. I was just commenting on the survey that was published, or probably news agency had hired an agency to conduct the survey. And they published it, and we were asked to comment on it. And I was not even given the report in advance. When they showed it on the screen, I was asked to comment on it. So accountability matters. Media accountability matters. I believe media, we say 4th pillar, right, of the state. Media has a very important role, and I think you are all of us. I don't think only those who study media is accountable to the state, but all of us, whatever we share on the social media, whatever we comment, whatever we, read, both sides make sure that we are accountable to what we are using, what we are consuming, what we are sharing with others. The other point is digital literacy. Now we are in the age of high tech, and I tell my researchers in my office, gone those days where you produce some information or people, oh wow, this is something that we never knew, right? Now I'm sure you already discovered what I spoke. I know many of them are actually spending, they're looking at their phone, so I'm sure they're Googling it and find out, the veracity and availability of the data. So you have so many AI tools these days, just basic information. You try 3-4 AI tools, probably you get a better objective information, right? So large language models are governing us, and understanding about digital space is very important. Digital literacy is very important, and that tool can also be a positive construct for social inclusion. I think as a society, we are responsible for accommodating and for an inclusive society. And media and those exercising this have a larger role to play in that construct. I also go to some media channels where I say, I don't want to come here anymore because it's very, very biased and not objective. So that's another important, I just want to share with you. And the post-truth challenge to democratic institutions. This is a very big challenge as a policy researcher. The post-truth, like I said, you share 100 times, 1,000 times, 1 lakh times, 1 million times, then it becomes a truth, right? So how do we ensure that we understand what is post-truth and the challenges that bring to the democratic institutions of the country, or globally, I would say. Right? That's also very important. And The fourth one, I have two more points. Fourth point I want to focus on localizing global narratives for regional impact. Right. I don't know how many you followed Eugen Habermas, who just passed away, German philosopher, 96-year-old man. And I read him so many years back. Recently, when passed away, a lot of people are discussing. So I was reading again some of the contributions. So his interesting version, he said, what is the role of public in governance? Because you elect your representative, that doesn't mean that they are truly representative of your thing. So he tried to do different models in Germany. He said, let's have smaller group gatherings, they will discuss, debate, and convey to, because he is a true champion of democracy. Then he realized that it is not going to happen. But early 2000, he thought internet can bring a huge revolution. He said, okay, now people can share their ideas, we can debate, contest. Then he also, realized that after a point, internet could be a big polarizing platform. Then he withdrew from that. That's a journey of Habermas. So why I said in this context, because lots of things are happening around the world. There are wars. I don't know how many wars we have. We have so many wars. Between so and so, we can count so many. At least 8, 9 wars are there. I still believe it's not only 2 wars or 3 wars. There are so many wars around the world. So understanding that is also important. And for example, people ask us, how this is going to have an impact on Kerala, for example, Middle East. We have 3.5 million people are there. What's the impact and all? So how to contextualize it? This is very important. So localizing global narratives, and narrative is also like, somebody asked this question to the chief editor of the foreign magazine. What is the end time what is your prediction? He said, I can't predict Mr. Trump, that's it. Right? Even he can't predict himself, that also nobody knows. So he says many things every other day, but it's very important to understand. This is all, like Swamiji said, personalities, right? That's a huge impact. Localizing global narrative for regional context is very important. And fifth one is collaborative ecosystems. The media, research institutions, academic institutions like this, think tanks, institutions, individuals, they should collaborate. We are living in such a highly polarized or polarizing world. I don't want to condemn, or I don't want to say, oh, these people are responsible for that, this section or that part. I think we are all responsible for that. We are all responsible for that. If you could collaborate, that is a great engagement for a positive society that we want to see in future. With this, I stop now, and I wish all the best to International Symposium Media Education and Research. I also thank to organizers for giving me this opportunity, and all my colleagues to partner in this symposium. And 3 of my colleagues are there tomorrow. Please grill them, ask them questions, because some of them are quite experienced doing this work, the interface, that writing and then engaging media. I think they should be able to give more insights how when we face some challenges, how we overcome those challenges. So wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the informative address. Recognition is a small token of our immense gratitude. And I request Swami Purnamritananda Puri and Dr. U. Krishnakumar to kindly felicitate our chief guest and guest of honor. dignitaries. To conclude this inaugural session, I invite Dr. S. Dinesh Babu, HOD, Department of Visual Media and Communication, to propose the vote of thanks.
Om Amadeshwari Namaha. Respected Swamiji, distinguished Chief Guest, Guest of Honor, esteemed dignitaries on and off dais, respected faculty members, dear participants, and my dear students, Namashivaya. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion of inauguration of 5th Annual International Symposium on Media, Education and Research, ISMER 2026, organized by Department of Visual Media and Communication, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Kochi campus. At the outset, I offer my heartfelt gratitude to Swami Purnananda Puri for his divine presence and blessings, which have truly elevated this inaugural ceremony and inspired us all. Thank you, Swamiji. I extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. P.N. Vasanti, Director General, Center of Media Studies, New Delhi, for her insightful address and for setting a meaningful tone aligned with our theme, From Classroom to Community, Media Education for Transformative Social Impact. Thank you, ma'am. My sincere thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. D. Dhanuraj, Founder, Chairman, CPPR, Kochi, for his valuable perspectives and continued engagement with academia and policy. Thank you, sir. I express my deep appreciation to our respected Dean and Director, Dr. U. Krishnakumar sir, for his constant guidance, encouragement, and leadership in shaping this symposium. Thank you, sir. I also extend my gratitude to all our speakers, panelists, researchers, and participants who have traveled from various parts of the country and beyond to contribute to this academic gathering. Your presence enriches the intellectual spirit of ISMER 2026. My sincere thanks to our organizing team, faculty members, research scholars, and students of the Department of Visual Media and Communication for their tireless effort in making this event possible. I also acknowledge the support extended by the university administration and all supporting staff who worked behind the scenes to ensure the smooth conduct of this program. As we begin this 3-day international symposium, an academic journey filled with the discussions, ideas, and collaborations, I am confident that ISMER 2026 will serve as a meaningful platform bridging classroom knowledge with the community impact. Once again, I thank each and every one of you for being a part of this significant initiative. Namaskar. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Dinesh. Now I request everybody to please raise for the Shanti Mantra.
ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ